Hey guys, it's BoxPro. Welcome back to another video. Today for Fallout 76, I'm going to be making a video regarding perk cards that I think are useful for not necessarily having equipped 100% of the time, but actually just swapping out whenever you might need them. So this will be linked in the description, and it's pretty much just going to be labeled useful perks to swap out. Like my previous perk build, I'm going to be going from left to right, from strength to luck, and I'll just do a brief explanation into why I think a perk card is useful to swap out and in like what kind of scenario. So whenever you're encumbered and you can't fast travel to a vendor, Strong Back has come in clutch for me many times. You only need 4 points. If you can't afford Strong Back, then you can maybe do Pack Rat, but this one is a lot more situational since it's only with junk items. So I think Strong Back is the better one here. So yeah, if you're ever encumbered, you need to fast travel, put on Strong Back, and then fast travel, sell the stuff, take off Strong Back. Alright, in the perception tree, we only have a minimum of 3 points needed. If you need to harvest meat, Butcher's Bounty will help you out. If you're trying to craft Flux or harvest Flora for another reason, Green Thumb is extremely helpful, and it's only 1 perk point. Picklocking, there's always 3 levels to Picklocking, and you only need a minimum of 3 points of perception to have all 3 levels of Picklocking. So you can have them de-equipped, and then whenever you need to actually picklock something, equip all 3, or whichever tier you need. And then we have these 3 perk cards. So there's this one, which is directional audio for magazines, directional audio for bobble heads, and directional audio for cap stashes. So if you're going to be scavenging specifically for these items, if you're like collecting them, these 3 perk cards can kind of help you in your endeavor. A good perk card if you know you're going into a nuked zone, Glow Sight, because there's usually a lot of glowing enemies in a nuked zone, and you can do an extra 60% damage to glowing enemies if you'd like. Same thing with Exterminator. If you're doing an event with lots of bugs or murlocs and that sort of thing, then Exterminator can help you in terms of damage against them. And then the next tree is going to be Endurance. We have a minimum of 3 points. And so if you're doing a lot of alcohol drinking or buffing up with alcohol, and you don't want to use materials on getting rid of the addiction, you can just pop this perk card on really quick. There's also a weekly or I think daily challenge where you have to drink a bunch of alcohol. I think it's a weekly one. And you can chug all the alcohol you need to for the challenge and then equip this before you do it. That way you don't have the addiction. If you need to swim somewhere or explore an underwater area, Aquaboy or Aquagirl can be helpful. Homeboy is good for when you're just chilling at your camp but you're injured and you don't want to waste a stim pack. Some of these are definitely going to be not as worthwhile, so it's kind of up to you on your judgment on what you think might be worth to invest perk points into. It's that way you can swap them out. Like Homeboy, I think stim packs are pretty common enough to get where you probably don't need Homeboy, but maybe you want it. So I'm just putting it there just in case. We have Charisma coming up next, and if you are into taming creatures or animals for your camp, we have Animal Friend or Wasteland Whisperer. Slap these guys on, pacify, and then take them off. If you're going to be traveling a lot, Travel Agent can help you, or if you're traveling a very long distance, you can put this on really quick, get a reduction in the cost. We have a Magnetic Personality and Hard Bargain. This is why the minimum is 5, because this combo is pretty good for when you're vendoring. So if you're selling or buying, you get increased charisma for every teammate excluding yourself. So if you have a full public team, then you get 6 bonus charisma because there's 3 other members. And then on top of that, Hard Bargain gives you better selling prices. Sometimes this charisma can also be beneficial enough to get you certain charisma checks for dialogue. At least it has in my experience. Happy Camper, Hunger and Thirst grow 80% more slowly when in a camp or team workshop. So if you're going to AFK at a workshop or a camp, this will make it so that your thirst and hunger don't go down nearly as much. Or if you're going to be building, generally this helps me preserve or use less food resources. Inspirational, if you're grinding out XP, bonus 15%, as long as you're on a team, so being in a public team pretty much counts. On to Intelligence, we have quite a bit of crafting perks here. So if you're using energy weapons, you're probably already going to have 3 of these perk cards, which is just Science Master and like science related. They give you really good benefits for crafting energy weapons and modding energy weapons. Then we have the 3 hacker ones, all 3 different tiers of hacking. This is for if you're a pipe weapon user, you could use this guy. You don't necessarily have to have it equipped for the breaking slowly part, but at least you could repair them for cheaper. Gunsmith is good for if you're going to be crafting tier 5 web weapons. You don't necessarily have to have it for the 50% slower. It just lets you craft better weapons. Scrapper is good for when you hoard a lot of weapons from an encounter, and then at the very end you can scrap all of them using Scrapper. If you prefer to scrap them versus selling them, up to you. And then we have armor. Your crafted armor has improved durability, and crafting armor now costs fewer materials. So if you're going to be crafting armor, then this is going to be good because it'll have improved durability and it'll be cheaper to craft. Contractor is extremely useful. It says only workshop items. It doesn't mention camp items, but it does count for camp as well. So building your camp with Contractor actually makes building quite cheaper. 50% off pretty much on everything, which was really helpful for me when I used it when I moved my camp. This is one of the science perks I mentioned earlier, Hacker mentioned earlier. Fix it good, so if you're using armor or power armor, you can repair it 200% the normal maximum condition, so you get double the condition, which is really nice. Just makes it last longer. So whenever you do repairs, slap on Fix It Good. This is just another science perk. Chemist, if you're crafting chems, you should always be using the Chemist perk, and you can combo this with Super Duper, which is a 3-point perk in the luck tree, and you have a chance of getting double, the 30% chance. This one will always proc, so you're always going to get double, but then you have a chance to get another double with Super Duper, so you can get lots of chems easily that way. Another hacking skill. This one is the same thing with the armor and power armor, but with weapons, so you can repair them for double the maximum condition. Powersmith is good for crafting power armor for the first time, or just crafting new parts of power armor. It'll cost cheaper and it'll have improved durability. This one is another one for Science Master. And then we have Power Patcher. Like I said before, you don't necessarily have to have it equipped for the reduction in breaking, but it's nice to make the repairs cheaper. Onto the agility tree, we have a minimum of 3 points here. We will start with Ammosmith. Ammosmith's really good when you're crafting ammo because you'll produce 80% more rounds, and then that stacks with Super Duper. So you'll have 80% more rounds 100% of the time, and then there's a 30% chance you'll get double that result, which is really nice. Then you have goat legs, so if you're not using power armor and there's ever a scenario where you might need to take a very large fall, sometimes goat legs can help you. It's not 100% damage mitigation, but it is 80%, so, kind of guesstimate if you'll still die or not. White Knight is good for armor, makes armor cheaper to repair versus power armor cheaper to repair, so depends on which ones you're using. Then we have the luck tree for the last tree, minimum of 3 points here. Pharma, if you're on the search for extra aid chems from chem containers, slap this guy on. If you're looking for extra ammo from ammo containers, slap this guy on. If you're looking for extra food from food containers, slap this guy on. And this one's really good for the eat the canned food or pre-war food challenge, because this will help you find a lot of pre-war food. Good with Salt is good for meat week when you have a lot of prime meat in your inventory, or if you do tend to have a lot of meat in your inventory and you have issues with spoilage, then you can always put this perk on whenever you have a lot of food on you at the time. And we can go to Cap Collector. This is good to use if you're hunting lots of caps. Cap stashes from the perception tree with the audio cue. Paired this with the Cap Collector, 100% extra caps along with the audio cue. Pretty nice. If you're going to be harvesting wood, you might as well get double the wood with Woodchucker. And Super Duper I talked about, pretty much whenever you're crafting anything, you have a 30% chance to get double the results. This procs for almost everything, but most of the time, items that are not tradable or are gold bullion related will not proc. But this procs for like Flora. It doesn't proc for like the Plasma Caster, but it does proc for T65 power armor for some reason. I ended up crafting like 2 torsos when only crafting 1 torso because of the Super Duper. So it's pretty nice. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know in the comment section below. Sending cards that I missed that you find yourself swapping out a lot, then let me know. That way, everybody can find out. But hopefully this video was helpful in some way. These are usually cards that I utilize off and on all the time. And yeah, until next time.